Hey there! Oh my goodness, such an exciting day. I cannot wait to talk to you guys about expanding your music businesses online. This is going to be a fabulous interview. So, whether you are joining us live or you're watching this later on, please be sure to jump into the comments and have a conversation with us. The guest that I'm going to introduce in just a moment is simply fabulous, and I cannot wait to bring her on. So, we're going to do a quick housekeeping and then we're going to get into the good stuff. So, today's topic is how to expand your music business online. So, if you have been in the one on one model and you're thinking, I think that there's just something bigger for me, something bigger and better there for me, and you've got this vision, but you're not quite sure how to get there, then you have found yourself in the right place. So, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Please be sure to say hello if you are here. And hey, if you're new, just so you know, my name is Sara Campbell. I'm a business strategist, marketing and mindset coach for music studio owners and online education experts just like yourself. We go live here every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about all those good things. We love to learn out loud together. So if you hear something in today's broadcast that inspires you, something that you want to put out into the universe, give us a hashtag takeaway and let us know what that good thing is. So if you're here with us, please say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Get ready for some great takeaways. And let me bring on today's guest. Here we go. Hi, Jaime.
Hi, Sarah.
Welcome. I'm so glad that you've joined me today.
I'm thrilled to be here.
So, before we get started, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you because you've got a fascinating background.
A fascinating background. I'm a techie to the core. I live in front of the computer, and that's where I want to be. I have my degree in computer science, spent a decade in corporate IT, and have spent the last decade working on helping others use the internet for their businesses. In the past 18 months or so, I have really focused this in on working with creatives, working with artists, working with music teachers, and that's my sweet spot is helping you get that idea that you have, whatever that might be, into the computers so that they work online so that you can reach more people and for you not to have the tech stress. I mean, that's a big thing is because I have so much tech know-how from a couple decades of experience and just loving to tinker that I'm able to take that away from my clients and just let them shine online. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Oh, I love it. I think it's fantastic that you've niched into, artists and musicians because there are so many of us who have these really cool ideas, but we're not quite sure how to put it, like you said, into the computer and make it accessible for other people. So,
It's been super fun.
yeah, it is. And I know from my experience, I mean, I've had to hire other people to like, I'm like, I know I want this thing and I kind of know how I want it to look and how I want it to be accessed, but and maybe I could kind of figure it out if I had like 2 years and a lot of time to study and test things. But sometimes it's just easier to let the pros do it. So we're here to talk today about how you can expand a music business online, and you've got three really cool tips that and pointers that we're going to be going through. So let's, before we get to that, let's say hello. We've got some people tuning in. So I'll say hi to Craig Harmon. Good to see you. Stephanie Bramble Chevalier is here. Laura Budgell's here. She's waving. Sally's tuning in from Indianapolis. And I see Lisa is tuning in as well. Nice to see you all. Thanks for coming in, guys. If you have a teacher friend that you feel could benefit from this conversation, please invite them and let them know about this. If you have a group that you would love to make aware of this, go ahead and share this into the group and let them know that we're here because we're going to have a really good time today. So let's, before we get to the three tips, Jaime, because when we were preparing this interview and emailing back and forth, when you sent those three tips in, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. You've got some really cool stuff. But before we do that, I want to let everyone know I do have the Savvy Sarah bot set up, so she will send you information from today's broadcast. If you put the word expand below, she's going to send you the show notes, and then she's going to send you something else that we'll get to in a minute. But if you do want to get a hold of those now so that you don't forget, go ahead and throw that word down into the comments, and she will send you a message. And I'd also like to know, for those of you who opted in for text reminders, if you got a text message successfully today, please let us know that as well, because the bot is learning new things. Okay, so let's get to these 3 tips, shall we, Jamie?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Tip number 1: you'll need strategy, support, and tech. So tell us more about this.
Yes, it's not good enough. It's not good enough to say that I want to create an online program. I want to create an online course. I want to create a membership site. I want to have an online community for my music studio. That's not good enough. You need to have a strategy. What is this going to do? How is it going to empower the students who come? How is it going to grow your business? Why are you doing this? You need to have a really clear understanding of what you're trying to accomplish so that you can build a strategy to execute. We can't execute on what we're trying to do if we just have this pie in the sky idea. So that's really the strategy piece. And then we go into support. And support means not going at it alone. I mean,
Mm,
Sarah, you already kind of mentioned it.
yeah.
When you hire a techie or you hire someone else to work with you, they work both as helping you get the program accomplished, but also as accountability. We are creatures of community. And
Mm.
therefore, it's really important for us to lean on one another and to build in layers of support. Your spouse, they may be the first layer of support. Your children or your parents may be another layer of support, but those people have a vested interest in what you're doing. I think that we all need support from someone who is there as a cheerleader but does not have a vested interest in the outcome. For me, yes, I want my clients to succeed, but I don't need them to succeed in order to put food on the table for my family. And that disconnect there actually makes for a better relationship and a better accountability system. And the third thing is that the tech doesn't have to be overly complicated. It just has to work for what you want it to do. These are the 3 pillars of my business.
Oh, I like this. And I'd love to talk about those for a second. So when you talk
Totally.
about strategy, sometimes when we have a project in mind, and I kind of want to, I'll back it up just a second to say, those of you who are with us, if you do have like some kind of idea that you've been kicking around in your brain, we'd love to know about it. So how do you want to expand your business online? That's the big question. I want you all to answer that. If whether you're live or you're watching this later on, how do you want to expand your business online? Go ahead and share that with us. Now, when we're thinking about that idea, right, to say, okay, like for me, I wanted to start a social media course, right? And I had this idea, it was kind of kicking it around for a while. And sometimes we think of the end result, like we vision out like, okay, it'll look like this and all that stuff. We get so bogged down in thinking about what the end result is going to be that we don't think about, well, what are the like, how do I break this down into steps? How do I make
Right.
this doable? Do you see people getting stuck in that kind of a thing?
All the time. All the time. I mean, we jump in feet first and
Yeah.
we figure out, oh, wait a second, there's not a ground right here. We have to figure out these things. So it's a lot better to say, I want to get all the way across the pool. I better make sure that I know the depth of the pool. I better know the distance that I have to travel. I better know why I want to get all the way to the other side of the pool. So,
Oh, that's a
yeah.
great analogy. I like that. And you should know whether or not you're going to need water wings, right?
Yeah. Or if you want to make sure that someone's out there to, to catch you. I mean, that's where the support comes in. You want to make sure that you have a buddy with you. I mean,
Hmm.
those are all part of the strategy. It's why these three things really come together so often is that we can't have a successful online product with only two of these. We need all three.
Yeah, I see. Craig has said, "Ooh, he's made that's his takeaway from today that you need all three of those things." Great way to go, Craig. I like that. I see we've got some people sharing ideas. Like Anna is interested in adding asynchronous lesson packages. Ooh, that's cool. I see that Stephanie said her takeaway is getting that we can get stuck in the steps, right? We get stuck in those steps. And I love that the differentiation you've just pointed out in the types of support that we can have. We have the vested interest support, from maybe a spouse, your kids, your parents, could be, close friends, although you might not be putting food on their table. But but it is nice to have somebody who doesn't have that vested interest, but is there to support you in a different way.
Hmm.
And so having a team or having even if it's a team of two, right? And having that
Yes.
person who can help you figure out the steps and can be there to point out, well, here are some potential issues in the future, or let's rethink this, and to do so in a way that's really supportive.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
so we
Yes.
need you can't have one, you can't have two, you got to have all three. You've got to figure out your strategy. How are you going to get across the pool? And what does the pool look like? You need that support, and then you do need to figure out the tech end of things. And I think that's where a lot of other people get stuck as well.
Oh, yes. The tech is such a big, air space. I was just talking to someone yesterday about, I'm like, so about the tech, and they're like, well, I'm looking at this and looking at this and looking at this. I'm like, stop looking at all of these things. You're overcomplicating life. Pick one
Hmm.
and go with it. It may not be the best one for the next 12 years, but as long as it's the right one for the next 6 months to 2 years, you're fine. Your business is going to evolve so much that I would hate for you to waste 4 months researching tech and trying to learn tech and spending all the time on YouTube and on courses and on, reading blog posts about that tech. Just start doing. And that's again where you go back into the support. Get somebody who knows the system to set it up for you.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Oh, I love what you just said. Like, don't get stuck in like trying to figure out what's the perfect thing. I see that Michelle is saying yes. Pick one and go with it.
yeah,
And thank you, Michelle. Love you too. You're amazing. So good
yes,
to see
love you,
you.
Michelle.
So we've got okay. This is number one. So guys, if you're listening now, which you are, because I see a whole bunch of you showing up on my end here. Um, Tell me which one of these three things do you think you need to spend some time on? If you've got that vision in your head and you're thinking about, okay, I'd love to expand my business with asynchronous lessons. I'd love to expand it by offering some type of a membership. I'd love to expand, the possibilities are endless. I want you to think about that idea and I want you to look at these three things and answer that question. Which one of these three things is something that you need to focus on first? Which one of those three things do you need to really get in line in order to take that next step? And share that with us. I love it. Oh, yep. See, Karen's like, I didn't have any tech support. I had to figure it all out by myself, right? Yeah, yeah. And Craig is saying he has to focus on strategy. It's a good place to start, Craig. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. All right, so let's bring in the second point here today. I love this one. There is no one right way to build an online program. Tell us about this.
Okay, so I have to confess that this one came out of people following gurus.
Ah,
They would go and they would follow someone who's really famous in the online space who has had success and they want to follow that person's blueprint. But their business is not the same as your business. They are not music teachers. They are not creating an online studio. They have a different business. So you can't necessarily copycat that, point by point, their launch method, their tech that they use, the objectives that they create, and all of that. So that was kind of how this whole idea came about. But there are so many high quality software tools online nowadays that you can have success with pretty much any one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing. Is I have been told that I am very much tool agnostic. I'll work with anything
Mm-hmm.
because they all come with, good things, and with their forte. And so just because you found a tool, you don't have to necessarily find someone who teaches how to use that tool, or you don't have to necessarily use all the tools that the person that you're following is using. So there are a lot of ways to structure your program, and it can be completely unique to you.
I really am so glad that you brought up the point about the gurus in the space, these really, really big names that, you come across on a podcast or, a social media or something. And they do have, some of them have wonderful programs, right? These great programs, but we have to consider that what worked for their audience, which is a very wide audience, right? It's like all people who want to build online courses. We know like that's a big thing, right? Their method of launching, the programs that they use, the style of marketing that they use doesn't always translate into the artistic realm. It just doesn't.
Totally.
And I've seen some kind of train wrecks happen, like when people try to use those techniques, and what they find is that the marketing style kind of alienates their audience, or they find that all of the things that you have to, like the tech stack involved with running a program like that, is like overwhelming to them. So I think we have to be really careful. Yeah, Michelle's like, I'm so here for this. Hashtag no gurus.
Yeah, watch them from afar, be
Hmm.
inspired by them,
Yeah.
but you don't have to use what they teach as a blueprint. I mean, even their courses are good. I'm not going to say they're not good. It's just that those aren't necessarily the way you need to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we can learn a lot of stuff from the gurus. Like you said, listen in, watch from afar, take what is valuable to you. The people that I like to listen to are like you, Jamie. What did you say? Being a tool agnostic, right? That they're not pushing just one specific way of doing things, that they may mention different types of programs. They may say, they might have lists of things, and to say, here are some things that you might consider. So I do appreciate that, and I love that. Pete says tool gnostic. He's kind of made a new word for you here. I like it.
Oh, cool. I like that. I like that a lot. It's not to say that I don't have my favorite tools,
Of course.
because I have to be able to specialize in something in order to be able to create things efficiently with my clients. But I am never afraid of using something that I've never used before. And my learning curve on tech is a lot faster than the average citizen
Hmm.
because I've spent so much time in the tech. So I
Yeah.
think that allows me to be more tool agnostic than a lot of people.
Yeah, it's about finding the tools that work for you, right? It's about picking things that work with your tech level, right? So you might have somebody set something up for you, but you're probably going to need to be hands-on with that, to make sure that things are working, or to just to tinker around. And so you want to find things that are comfortable for you. I've played around with lots of different like online course creation tools, the thing, one that might be super simple, one that might be like really complicated. And I can say it's not that one is better than the other for any specific reasons. It's just better for you, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
you want to pick something that's going to work for the way your brain works, the way your budget works, all of those kinds of things, right? So I
absolutely.
love this, because I think sometimes one of the biggest things that stops people from realizing a vision or even starting on a project is because they might look at, well, this is how this person's doing it, and they get overwhelmed with all of the things that would be involved in it. So they think, okay, well, this just isn't going to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could stop dead in your tracks if you get that list of software that they
Oh,
are
yeah.
recommending and you look at the price tag at the bottom and you're like, what?
Right?
How are all these other people, how are all these other music studios doing it when the price tag to get started is this astronomical price tag because you're looking at one person's system. So,
Yeah. It kind of brings me back to what you said before about, picking out tech. When we're picking out a program, software, whatever, kind of online tool, it just needs to be right for us for the first bit of time, right? Is it going to work for you for 6 months? Is it going to work for you for like a couple of years? Um,
mhm,
I'll share a quick story that, when I initially launched the social media course, I had almost zero tech stack on it. I mean, it was really low tech, but it worked. And it got me through the first 6 months of it. And then I sat down with somebody and I was like, listen, we've got to automate things some more. Let's build something out.
yep,
And
totally.
yeah, and so you don't have to start by having every single one of those things in line that you see for like the long-term vision. Sometimes it's
Right.
just about starting a little messy
Uh-huh. Yep.
and learning as you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I have a client who at the start of the pandemic took her course, her 4-week workshop online. And what she did is she had a WordPress website. So she
Hmm.
password protected 4 pages on it, one for each of the lessons.
Oh, nice.
And that was it. And she sent emails from her Gmail account. And that was it. We now have it so that she's, using learning management system and she's got a forum and she's got an email marketing system. But we're talking a year after she did her first time that we've
Yeah.
got all of these systems in place. So yeah, you can start with what you've got. That's another thing I often like to say is start with where you have and then iterate.
I think that's beautiful. I love, and I used to use the password protected pages on WordPress too. That's how I would send parents and everybody my policies and things like that, and like the page that has the list of all of the things. And that's how I used to protect that. And hey, it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Start with what you've got.
Oh, oh, this is a great takeaway from Stephanie. She's like, takeaway, you do you, boo. Yes, exactly, exactly. And Barbara, thank you for the comment about the async lessons. I think that's really fascinating. Yeah, hashtag running with it. Oh, this is a great comment. We'll bring this up. Michelle says, I think other people see folks and products not realizing that there were a lot of iterations before most people see the fancy stuff. Everybody sees the garden and wants the garden, but they don't want to get dirty with the seeds and the watering and the waiting. Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely quote worthy.
No, definitely. So, okay, we know that we need to get our strategies, our support, our tech, and we need to know that there's not one right way to build an online program. Those are our two things so far. Number three is really cool. You guys ready for number three? Let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. People buy results and not methods. Unpack this for us.
Okay, so just because you have always taught your lessons in this methodical order doesn't mean that when you come online, you have to teach in the same way. What I
Mm,
mean by this is that when someone says, I want to learn to play the guitar,
yeah.
that is the result they're looking for. They're not looking for you to teach them how to play this chord and then this chord and then, and do this. And like the exact same steps you take in a one on one lesson in person are not the same steps you're going to take in an online asynchronous or synchronous teaching style. And so people are buying your results. They are buying what you're promising. So make sure you promise something with your online program that is attainable and back into that results rather than moving forward with what you've always done. The way I like to say it is, okay, if your result is that you're going to be able to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, okay,
Okay.
I like to use simple examples here. If the result is you're going to be able to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the guitar, then what does somebody need to know before they are able to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? Well, they need to know this note. They don't need to know how to strum this note, and this note. Okay. So then we've now backed in, and we continue to back in all the way till we get to the beginning and say, okay, this is the place where I want them to start from. I want them to have a guitar. Like maybe that's the beginning.
Yeah.
Maybe the beginning is I want them to be interested in the guitar, and I'm going to start them by learning how to buy a guitar. Like there's so many different things you can do, but starting with the result and not with the way you've always done it is a really great way of translating things into the online space.
I love that you brought that up. This is, backing it up, thinking, okay, what is the result? What's the big hooray finish line, right? This is, and that you did the thing. What's going to be the result of them taking that course, and then just reverse engineer it? Like, what has to happen in order for them to get to that space?
Yes, I think one of the big things with online is that we want finish lines. We
Hmm.
need finish lines. We don't want to have ongoing lessons in the same way as we do in person. You know, when you have your studio down on Main Street, people they have an expectation of, okay, I'm going to be going every single week. We're going to have
Yep.
breaks at Christmas time. We're going to have a break at spring break. We're going to have a break over the summer. And they know that it's going to be, continuing on. With online, people want a start and an end to the process. And that's why we want to be promising results and delivering on those promises.
Oh, that's beautifully said. I love that. Jackie also says, "Oh, great framing here, Sarah Rose. This is her takeaway, right? That people buy results. Benefits are greater than features. Yay! Oh my gosh. Yes, so good. Michelle says, curriculum development as a road to this result. I love that idea. And Stephanie's got her takeaway. They need a finish line for online.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That
that's
be a
actually
tagline for me.
yeah, getting all kinds of good things here. I think that this is so important because as teachers in like the one-on-one in-person model, or even if you're, I mean, a lot of us are teaching online right now, but still, it's still in the traditional one-on-one model, right? In that one-on-one model, we kind of see this as just this, like you said, this continuous experience where they show up each week, and there's not a finish line for that. It's not like, okay, once you learn how to sing this piece, we're done.
Right.
That's not the model. And so our brain though is this is the model that we've been in for many, many, many years. It's what we've been taught as students ourselves. And so it's hard to break free from that initially. And when we can do that and start thinking about, okay, this product that I would want to create, right? This course, it needs to have an end result. It can't just be asynchronous things that don't lead to something.
Right. Exactly. And the way that you have taught doesn't translate one to one into creating that asynchronous, that course, because just because you may spend two lessons on one thing when you're working face to face with someone, maybe that takes 5 minute a 5 minute video lesson, three exercises, and another 5 minute video lesson. You can structure things differently. People don't need to pretend that they're in the room with you. We want to give them a different experience. We want to give them a full 360 experience that is delivered online, and not making our online products sound like a stand in for in
Yeah.
person.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yes, it's not a stand-in. It's not the same thing. It is a different thing. And we need to be able to communicate the differences like here and communicate what are the features of this, what are the benefits of doing it this way versus doing one-on-one lessons, and
Yes.
really leaning into that. Yeah, this is fantastic. So I
I can
know,
talk about this all day.
oh, right. Me too. This is good stuff. Like this is just it's such a different way of thinking and framing things, but it's really refreshing because I see, I know so many teachers who are considering, you know, this idea that you've kicked around for a while, and you're thinking, okay, I really do want a way that I can expand my business beyond the one-on-one model, because we know at a certain point you kind of reach like, okay, this is the top of where I can be, right? You can raise your rates to a, to a certain extent, but then we kind of cap out,
Mhm.
because there are only so many hours in the day. You
There's
only
only
have
so many hours a day we want to be working.
exactly, because when we push ourselves to like fill every single possible space, we really run the risk of exhaustion. And I see that all the time. I mean, I saw it in myself. I did that, you know. I remember working until like 9 o'clock at night. But, you know, because of the nature of we're in a service industry, right? We're not selling products. We're in a service industry, and we had a limited amount of time. We have a limited amount of personal resources. I see so many people going, okay, well, how do I get bigger now? And I think that this is a great way to do it. And yeah, there's a ton of online courses out there, and people can pick all kinds of things, but there's not going to be an online course that's like yours, because you're unique, right?
Yes, totally, totally. People buy the results you give. They
Mm-hmm.
aren't buying a generic result. That's
No.
the other thing is, if someone has experience working with you, Sarah, and then you have an online program, they're going to want that program because they resonate with the way you teach. They don't resonate necessarily with exactly how you teach, but the way you teach, your vibe, everything else that comes through the camera and on screen and in the notes and in the emails and in all
Yeah.
that other stuff, that's what's going to work for it. And we don't want to have a race to the bottom. I just want to put that out. We don't want to
Mm.
price our programs so low
Yeah.
to compete against the massive, big, huge sites, because you are unique, like Sarah, like you said.
Yeah.
You are unique, and that there's just so much potential for you to create your specific audience and to grow in the way that makes sense for you.
It does. It's beautiful. This is another great point here. Um, what is so exciting is that people are finally buying into this. One good thing about COVID-19, models like these are now viable. They're more viable than they were before we were all forced to go online. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. And oh, thank you. I see Dorla Aparicio's here saying, so good to hear musicians having this conversation. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad. If you guys are enjoying this, let us know. We do have some other things we want to chat about here. So excuse me, before we get to that, let's do a quick recap of the 3 points, right? So the point of today's conversation is to teach you how to teach you some of the things that you need to consider in order to expand your music business online. And Jamie, you had 3 tips. Let's go over them like quick style. Ready? Here we go. So tip number 1 was go for it.
Strategy, support, and tech. You can't do it with only two. You can't do it with one. You need all three.
You need all three of those things in order to come together. And then the number 2 was
There is no right way to build an online program. You don't have to follow all the gurus. You can do
yeah.
it your own way.
Yeah, you do you, boo, right? As I can't remember who said
Yes.
that. That was a great summary there. And then, of course,
Yes, people buy results, not methods. The way you have always taught doesn't mean that that's how you have to do your online programming.
yeah, yeah, so good. So I'm so thankful that you agreed to do this interview, Jamie. This has been really fun. Now, there's something that's coming up next week. It's launching, and so if there are teachers here who want to learn more about expanding your business into having some type of a new online model, whether it's a course or something that's asynchronous, this, I think they're going to be really excited. Why don't you tell us about the 2021 Expand Online Summit? This is going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So this is the second annual Expand Online Summit. I hosted the first one last year in May, just as everyone was trying to figure things out chaos wise. It was kind of a perfect storm as to I had started this long before the pandemic, the plan for it. But this year I have pared it down for focus. This one is exclusively for music educators
Wonderful.
instead of a larger, broader base. This is exclusively for music educators. And what it is it's 5 days of training, 5 days of material to help you decide what the next step you're going to take is, whether it's learning from Sara and doing, more on social media and getting better with your social media strategy, whether it's making improvements to how you run your one-on-one lessons,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's layering different types of programming in, so adding in a course or a group program and adding in those different things. And so there are 16 pre-recorded sessions. Four come out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So each of those days, there are 4 sessions. And then on Friday, next Friday, May 7th,
Yeah.
I'm doing a live session all about the tech at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and everybody can figure out their time zones in between.
Yeah.
And then we have a speaker roundtable at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, where you'll be able to actually sit down with speakers and ask them questions from what they talked about in their session. And the whole idea is for you to take action, for you to say, this is the next step in my online journey. This is the next step for my online studio, for my teaching business.
Yeah.
It's not for you to come and watch all 18 sessions and say, oh, that was fun. Check. We want to make sure that you're taking action. I really am framing this as an educational opportunity, much like going to a conference, rather than
Yeah.
an entertainment opportunity.
Oh, yeah, and I was so refreshed when when you initially reached out to me to become a part of the online summit. I was so refreshed to know that you really encourage teachers to pick one thing that you're going to watch that day. Don't pressure yourself thinking that you have to watch every single one. Pick the one that interests you most and really dig into that. And
Yes.
I think I have a little picture that I can bring up here. Let me see if I can find it. Because we've got, there we go. Ah, hey, there we go. It's like right in
There's
the
the
middle.
workbook.
There's a roadmap that's really cool that you've created here. This is like right on top of my face. So I'm not. There we go. And
There
it
it
has
is.
we have all the pictures of all of the presenters this year. It's gonna be really really fun. And one of the coolest things about this is that you can actually attend this for free.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Completely free. I think you said that if people type in the word expand, that they will be able to get the link. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes. If you want to drop the word expand below, what's the Savvy Sarah bot will send it to you in Messenger. If you are not a chatbot person, I understand. I will give you the link where you can enroll. You'll go to savvymusicstudio.com/expand online. And there's a couple different levels. You can attend it for free and tell everybody what comes with the access, the free access.
Yeah, so the free access is access to all of the sessions that are pre-recorded for 48 hours each, plus the 2 sessions on Friday, and the playbook that you showed a picture of. That playbook is coming out this Friday,
I'm excited.
and the first exercise inside the playbook is to map out what you're going to do. Like I have given you a grid of these are the when I'm going to be putting things on my calendar so that I can do it. So that's what you get with the free access. And you also get access to my Facebook group. I'm sending you emails. I'm open to having conversations. I'm making myself as available as possible next week to make sure that we have lots of connectivity and lots of connection, lots of collaboration.
I'm enjoying
If
the. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say
yeah,
I'm enjoying the Facebook group as people are coming inside of it and learning. You're so good at welcoming people in, and I'm learning about all of these teachers and what they're hoping to do. And it's very inspiring to read about all of the goals that these wonderful teachers have.
yes, absolutely. So if you want to take things a step further, then on after you sign up for free, I'm going to present you with the opportunity to purchase the All Access Pass. What the All Access Pass is it's access to all of the sessions through April 30th, 2022. So for a full year. Okay, so you get access to all the sessions for an extended amount of time, which means that you can focus on your social media for the next 3 months and then come back to the summit and say, okay, now I want to refine my lessons.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you come back to the summit a couple months later and you say, okay, I'm ready to start that course. So you have longer to access the material so that you can actually take action on everything. Also, inside the All Access Pass, I sat down with every speaker and did a bonus interview. So there is
That was fun.
additional content.
I enjoyed doing that with you.
Yeah, that was super fun. I mean, every single one of them was a blast. So
Yeah.
we have those bonus interviews. And then there are gifts from the speakers
Mm.
inside there. Some of them have provided free access, free trials, coupons, discounts. I've got discounts on working with me, which is, I think that if you want to work with me, then buying the All Access Pass is going to save you money because my
Yeah.
discount is several $100s, whereas the
Yeah.
All Access Pass is a lot less than that. So even if you just take it up for the purpose of spreading out your learning and execution, it's worth it. So
Yeah.
those are the big things. I have one other thing that I am doing, which is
Oh,
if you bring an accountability partner with you. So you invite a friend to do this with you and to just network with one another and bounce ideas off of each other and just kind of go through it together. It's like bringing a friend to a conference. If
yeah.
you do that, I'm going to have another bonus session. I'm going to be doing that not next week, the week after that. I think it's on the 13th. I have to look at my calendar. I wasn't planning on sharing it, but I really want to.
Oh,
But
fun.
so because I think it's really important to, again, like we talked about earlier, have support, not just in your creation but in your learning, being able to bounce things off of a friend, and to both say yes together and kind of move on this path together. So if you bring a friend to join you, just let me know that you invited this person and I will invite you guys to that closed door bonus session.
That is super awesome. I just absolutely love it. And again, if you want to get that stuff automatically sent to you, put the word expand below. Jamie, I think what you've created at the online summit is quite unique. Because I mean, I've been a part of other summits in the past or I've attended them. And sometimes I think it's really overwhelming to get like all this information kind of thrown at you and not to have a clear plan. I love that you've created the playbook because it kind of reminds me of like actually going to an expo, right? You would have a map and you're like, okay, I only have so much time today. It's only open for so long. I'm going to visit this one and I'm going to visit this one and then I'm going to visit this one. It's the same.
Yeah,
You've taken the in-person aspects of a conference and then like brought that to the online space in a super unique way. So thank you for doing that. I mean, I just think that's incredible.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to plug something that I wasn't planning on plugging. Today on the Expand Online podcast, which is my podcast, imagine that, Expand Online everything.
Yes.
I actually talk about being a great summit guest, like being a
Oh,
great summit attendee.
awesome.
So I tied that in with the summit because I want to make sure that you are there for the right reasons
Yeah.
and that you have a reason for attending because you are taking time out of your day, you're taking time out of your week, you're not taking time away from your students. Therefore, where are you taking the time from? I want to
Hmm.
make sure that it's worth it. So that's why I put together that episode for the on the
Oh, that's
podcast today.
fantastic. So I'll remind people where they can follow you. So you can follow Jamie on Instagram at Jaime Slutzky. So you want to make sure to follow her there because are you going to announce the podcast over there? That'll be easy for them to
Yeah,
find.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
fabulous.
almost always over there. It's not in my bio right now because the summit's in my bio,
Gotcha.
but it'll be in there again.
Oh, well, this has just been so much fun. We've got to jump because I think we're going to be running some things on Clubhouse. So if anybody wants to know about, we're going to be chatting about the Expand Online Summit some more over on Clubhouse. It's going to be real fun. If you want to get a hold of that, just put Clubhouse below, and I'll make sure to invite you. I've got several invitations. So, Jaime, thank you so much for being
And thank
here. And I'm really excited. For more people to watch this. So, those who have attended and watched with us, please give Jaime a virtual round of applause for being here with us today. And I hope that you have the opportunity to share this with your teacher friends. So, if you enjoyed today, if you found value in this conversation, please let them know about it. And you can find me here next week, same time, same place, new topic every week, good stuff. So, Jaime, thank you for being here from the bottom of my
thank
heart.
you for
Thank you
having me,
so much.
Sarah.
So you hang on for just 1 second here, and I'll wrap up the broadcast here. Oh, I see. Oh, look, we got some applause in the comments here. Thank you, Dorla. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you spending your time with us, and we will be catching you next week. In the meantime, stay savvy and stay you, because you are an amazing teacher, and there's nobody in the world quite like you. And that online idea that you have in your head, it's totally going to be worth it. So we will see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.